Welcome to another episode of the Mixtape Matinee Podcast. I'm your host, Cole.
And I'm Court.
And today we have a really special guest on. We have Michael Chevalier on.
Woo!
Woo. Also known as Chev. Michael is a local artist in Boise, Idaho that makes punk music, and it's super cool. And we're just big fans of what you do, Michael. And so we're definitely gonna link your music for this episode today, for sure.
That's sick.
I wanted to ask, how did you get started in music? I'm sure, have you been in other bands before you launched Chev?
Yes, I have. Right out of high school, I was making, even before during high school, a little bit during middle school, I was making a lot of music. It was really bad music, really bad, embarrassing music. It'll never see the light of day. But right out of high school, I met a guy at my work who played drums, and I was like, "Oh man, you play drums? That's crazy. I play guitar." And we had like a little punk band for a bit there. And that was really my first and only band until like the last couple years. And now I've been kind of surrounding myself with a lot of really awesome people, playing music as much as I can now.
How many shows did you guys perform as that band with your drummer?
2, brother. Two good ones. Yes, sir.
Where did you perform at? What venues?
Venues. Oh shoot. No, they were backyards. They were houses.
Backyards?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. House shows. Those are the best too, though.
They were fun, man. They were really fun.
Yeah. So what was growing up, what were some of the bands that really got you into wanting to play music and wanting to play guitar?
When I was really young, it was like AC/DC and like ZZ Top. Jim Croce actually was a really big one for me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. My mom was a violin player, and so she was really like supportive when I wanted to start doing stuff. And then as I got older, I started kind of getting into like metal and whatnot. Like my dad was from Alaska, but he was like really into like Megadeth and Metallica. Yeah, I would go through all of his CDs, and so that got me into like metal. And I would listen to Judas Priest a lot, and I was like, wow, these guys are awesome. And and then in middle school, high school-ish, I started listening to like King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. And those guys like blew my mind, man. I was like, oh wow, I didn't even know music could sound like that. And they really kickstarted it for me. Stu McKenzie is like my idol, man. He's crazy. I want to be him.
Yeah, he's super cool. We've
awesome.
Seen them a couple times.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's cool. So then going from that to like being in your punk band, how did you get into recording to 4-track cassette and then kind of getting in, starting Chev and doing kind of the egg punk thing? How did you get into that?
So I want to say when I was 20, I met this guy at because I lived in Emmett for a long time, Emmett, Idaho, which is a tiny little town. And there was this guy there at this laundromat I would frequent, and I just moved out. And we would talk about like Black Sabbath and stuff. And eventually he made this proposition to me. He was like, okay, I have this big recording studio. Why don't you come over and we can record some stuff? And he was very like old school. Everything had to be analog. Everything had to be, like no punch-ins, capture that musical essence type guy. And I really admired that. And I was listening to Mac DeMarco and people like that for a really long time already. So Reel to Reels was like it was kind of really interesting to me. And he sold me a little Tascam 424. And I was like, dang, I don't even know what to do with this thing, but I want to make stuff on it, you know. And
Yeah.
this one of the punk bands here in Boise, Plum Vision, their bassist Ella Thurston. We were on a walk together, and she told me, she was like, "Hey, those bands I was like showing you the other day. Nobody in Boise is doing that." And I was like, "Okay, well, I'll do my research into it." And so I kind of deep dived into egg punk a bit more, and I just fell in love with it. And I was like, I could probably figure out some way to make this my own thing, you know?
What bands was she showing you?
Uh,
So she showed you some egg punk stuff?
yeah, so she started off with like Blix, and Blix was insane. The first thing I noticed was that the bass and the drums were just tight. Everything was just tight with those
Mm-hmm.
guys. And then CCTV, she showed me some Prison Affair. I think it was 3000 AD. Those guys are really cool. Snooper, right? And
Yeah, the
so
big
yeah,
ones.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just though they really like kind of painted me this picture, and I was like, well, I grew up listening to like thrash metal and stuff, and classic rock. I could probably put some of that in there, and then I could put some
Yeah.
jazz in there if I wanted, or I could put, because King Gizzard, right? I can make it whatever the
Yeah.
heck I want, you know?
Whatever you
Yeah.
want. Yeah. And I think for people that, I mean, I hope that with this episode, people will go check out your music, but you definitely have a very unique style of egg punk that I haven't heard like at all anywhere. And Tabitha also says the same thing, and she's like obsessed. So
Uh,
you have a really unique voice. So that's cool to like
yeah.
that, like all those influences are in your music.
I,
And yeah.
I'm curious. What are your non-musical influences, like movies, cartoons, books, video games, local weirdos,
Yeah.
jobs?
Word.
Local
Yeah.
weirdos.
So when I was living in Emmett, I was busking on this corner of my buddy's restaurant, and it was kind of like pseudo jazz busking. I had a bass, and I would lay down like a bass loop, then I would go over my guitar and I'd noodle on my guitar. And this guy came up to me, and he was this really old guy, and he was like, "Hey man, your stuff's cool, come show me how to play guitar." And I was like, "Sick, yeah, I got you." And so uh, he eventually he became my guitar tech after a while, and we're like really good friends. And the whole way he's been like extremely supportive and kind of like showing, like he put me onto a lot of like because he's from SoCal, so he grew up
Mm.
in that punk scene. So he's showing me stuff like TSOL, and he's showing me stuff like Tiger Army, and all kinds of really awesome bands. And he kind of, I don't think he realized it, but he was kind of guiding me at the same time, being like, well, you could do this instead of that. And that helped out a lot. It helped
Mm-hmm.
out a lot. Movies and video games wise, uh, man, you know, I don't know so much about movies, but like video games, I think like games like I don't know, like Dark Souls. I'm a big fan of Dark Souls, and just
Okay,
like
nice.
trying to challenge myself really came through with that, like pushing myself a little harder, I guess. And I don't know if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense, but like to me it does,
No, totally. Well, because that's like uh, Dark Souls is such a challenging game. Like you have to
You have to be
really lock
patient.
in. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You
That's
can't just
cool.
give up.
Yeah. I'm curious what's your what's some of your equipment that you use? Like what guitar are you using? What drum machine are you using when you're making these amazing songs?
Word. So usually what I'll do is I'll actually I've recorded over a couple of years. I've recorded a bunch of samples from real drum kits. And so I usually just hop into Ableton and I sequence all my drums using drum samples. Um,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, yeah. And then
That makes it for like one of a kind like
yeah,
drum sequences and stuff and
yeah.
sounds. That's
I've
cool.
never seen anybody else do that. Also, I didn't have the money to buy a drum sequencer, so I was just like, hey, I hooked up my studio buddy, and I was like, hey, can I record some stuff? And he's like, sure. So I just recorded it myself, and then popped it over into Ableton, made it my own thing, and then I put that through the
Mm.
Tascam, and then I play I think it's just a Fender Squire Jazzmaster bass. And I just plug that directly into the Tascam, and then I use an Epiphone Pro 335 semi-hollow body for all the guitar parts.
Oh, cool.
We got that split single coil. It sounds really nice.
That's sick. And then you're just running the guitar straight in
Yeah, sir.
to the Tascam as well.
Yeah,
So it's all of the natural compression of the tape machine.
that's it. That's it, man.
That's sick because yeah, the distortion and compression are so crazy on your songs. So
Yeah,
that's
it
cool.
took a long time to figure it out, but like
Yeah.
when I got the ball rolling and I got like a formula going, I was like elated, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool.
So we just barely saw you. We played a show with you in Boise at Realms. That was super fun. It was fun to see you perform those songs live. I know that you're trying to work on getting a band, like a full band going, but you had the backing tracks and you were singing. It was super fun to watch you, even though you didn't have a band. Like you're still entertaining, and
That's cool.
a lot of your lyrics are like hilarious. Me and Tabitha, you have a lot of humor in your lyrics, and I appreciate that. We were laughing, and we had a lot of fun. So
Yeah, yeah. Freaking who is it? Serge from System of a Down.
oh
He was
yeah,
like, yeah, he was like, anytime I hear music that's too serious, I just laugh. And so I was like, word, yeah, I get that. And I think it's
yeah,
cool if you can't take yourself seriously.
yeah.
Coming up though, I got guitarists. We're gonna be playing with real instruments, so stay tuned for that. That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, so if you're near the Boise area, make sure that you follow Michael and go see some MChev shows.
Yeah.
So you have some tapes out, which is cool. You were nice enough to give us a copy of your tape, and then once you get some shirts made, I definitely want to get one.
That'd be sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went through your Bandcamp, all your projects that you have on there, and most of them are tagged with punk, crust punk, egg punk, ska punk, skate punk. But one of them has folk and blues rock, and I think synthwave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's the right word, but
I was just curious if you could talk about that project because it's apparently so different from the rest of your discography.
So that was when I was trying to figure out how the Tascam worked. I think you're talking about the lost tapes thing.
Lost tapes.
Yeah. And that one, those were kind of just like I had a bunch of cassette tapes that were just lying around. A lot of those songs I like recorded and I put onto a drive like before I even had a laptop. I was too broke to afford a laptop, and so I kind of like I had a Focusrite. So I would route it to my phone, and I'd move it from the Tascam to my phone.
Oh wow!
Just to do anything, I had to do anything to make stuff. Yeah. So like with the synthwave one, that one like I don't know. I was like really into Depeche Mode for a while. Really into Depeche Mode and like Made in Timeland, King Gizzard. Like that was like crazy to me. I wanted to do something that was kind of psychedelic like that. A lot of that was the most amount of bouncing I've ever done on a tape machine too. Like bouncing tracks over, and because I couldn't really mix down, I was just on my phone, right? I was doing a voice memo off what you heard off the tapes. and so
Yeah.
I had to like run it through pedals to the Focusrite
Mm-hmm.
and then onto my phone, and yeah, when with the folk stuff, that was kind of when I was with my first band, and we were kind of still. That was like the very first time we were trying to figure out how the tape machine worked. Um, we had no idea, so it's very bare bones, very stripped. I think there's like two tracks for guitars, and then like the vocal tracks, and then that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like yeah, it was just
Just
experiments.
experimenting and trying to learn it. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
to trial and errors, and
Yeah. Me.
um, I like them because I think it's like this is the process to get up to a certain point, and then I'm gonna keep going,
Right.
and try
Yeah.
to outdo that.
That's cool. Me and Tabitha, we just ordered a 4-track recorder, so we're gonna start learning as well how to do that.
That's sick.
So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. It seems like in a lot of your songs and a lot of your music, they're inspired by what seems like real events, and then you just kind of turn them into kind of funny little songs about your real life experience. Would you agree that's kind of primarily about like what you write about?
Absolutely, absolutely. Art is an imitation of reality. So
Mm,
yeah, I try to capture it as much as I can, and then laugh about it, a little bit.
yeah,
It's
it's
fun.
it's funny too that you said that you're not influenced by movies because you have that one song where you're literally sampling the good, the bad, and the ugly at the
Yeah,
beginning of the song.
that's okay. Yeah, yeah.
so,
That's a good
so
point. That's a
I think you
good point.
are sorry, I think you are inspired by films because you put that at the beginning of your song, which
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I loved that sample, especially the first time I heard that song. I can't
Yeah.
remember which song is that. I can't.
Bar fight.
Bar fight.
Oh, that
Yes,
makes
sir.
sense.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
That song's awesome.
I have one more question before we go to the movie section of our podcast. Are there any Boise area bands or artists that you feel like deserve more recognition?
That's a good question.
Uh Maybe it's a little biased, but I definitely think Plum Vision does. I think Plum Vision is a really awesome band. Crush the Monster is a badass band. They're always doing great shit. Surf Green Machine. Um, I think Bauhaus is really great. Um, in the metal realm, we have a lot of bands coming up. And I've been listening to Plea Deal. They're a local hardcore band. They're pretty cool. Um, they all have great energies. Every single one of those, they have an amazing energy. They're all great people. Um, Definitely should check those guys out if you get the chance.
Sick. I
Cool.
will. I haven't heard of them, so yeah, I'll definitely give them a listen. So for the podcast, we had you select a movie that you wanted to talk about. And do you want to tell the audience, the listeners out there, what movie it was that you picked and why you picked it?
Uh, yeah. So I picked out Faust, the 1994 Polish film, I think it is.
It's
Um,
Czech.
it's Czech, right? Yes. I really love the symbolism in it. Um, I wasn't like raised super religious, but it's something theology has always been something that I found really interesting. And I think the symbolism and how they represent the film with so few words uh
Mm.
it's really interesting. Like it's a great watch. It's very intriguing to me.
So me and Court watched the film together, and it's funny that you picked this film because we had just recently watched the 30s version. Anyway, so it's cool because we watched that film, and so we kind of have had that story in our head already. So it was interesting with this film because it's referencing the story of Faust, but it's not
Right.
directly like sharing the entire story of the film. But it's also cool because there's live action, and then there's stop animation, so claymation, and then there's also puppetry. So there's kind of
Yeah.
like three different styles that are being used in this film, and that was one of the biggest things that stood out to me. And then also there's not a whole lot of dialogue outside of what they're kind of using from the story of Faust.
Yeah.
So this film came out in 1994. It was directed by, and I'm probably not going to pronounce this correctly, John Zvonkmajor. I don't know. And one thing that's interesting about that is it came out of the Czech Republic, and this is right after, I think that it's what's called, well, in '89, I think there was the Velvet Revolution, where when it was still Czechoslovakia, there was an uprising that overthrew the communist government. And then I want to say it was 93, the Czech Republic and Slovakia split. And the Czech Republic decided to pursue like much more like capitalism type like economics, where Slovakia had some of that, but it was a little more government controlled. Anyway, with that context in mind, I just think it's really interesting, like how he shows Prague, because Prague is often romanticized, and it's also like during that time, the Czech Republic was wanting to attract people to visit, but he shows like kind of the gritty, dirty, shabby reality of a lot of the locations there.
Yeah, especially in the film, you see like the main place is a theater, and it's totally dilapidated.
And then I just had a quick little spoiler light like plot description. So a middle-aged man who's kind of like an everyman archetype. There's not a lot about him. Like he's almost kind of like he's almost like a blank canvas.
Yeah.
He receives a map, and he ends up, and it's really interesting. Like there's this part where he like goes to his apartment, and this like black, was it a chicken or was it a rooster?
Yeah,
a
rooster.
Chicken, yeah. Oh, was it a rooster? Okay.
Yeah. Comes out of his apartment. It's pooped all over the floor, and then he cleans it up, and it's like pretty gross. And then he like is eating, and then all of a sudden he realizes there's this egg embedded in this loaf of bread.
Yeah.
He takes it out and he cracks it. The lights go off.
Nothing in the egg.
Yeah, there's nothing in the egg. And then he goes and looks out the window, and there's these two actually characters who are actually important to the film for the rest of the film, staring up at him with these like eyes that are
blank
totally
eyes,
whited out. Yeah, holding the rooster and just staring at him. And then it gets weirder from there. So he follows the map, and he enters a strange building that becomes a theater, a dressing room, a puppet stage, an alchemical laboratory, and ultimately a trap. And he is gradually drawn into the Faust story with the costume script, and then he ends up performing the ritual and forming a pact with Mephistopheles.
He's an agent of the devil.
He's an agent of the devil. He bargains his soul for 24 years of pleasure, basically, is basically what he says. But unlike other versions of Faust, he's just like an average Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Like in other versions of Faust, the main guy is usually like wanting to make a deal with the devil in order to achieve like the most knowledge a human can have, or like
Yeah, like a
it,
philosopher or
yeah,
a
And
scientist or something, you know?
yeah,
and he really wants to help people out too. Like, but yeah, with this guy, he's just a lonely kind of businessman type
yeah,
of dude.
Hmm.
Like, because
Totally selfish, greedy, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, you
yeah,
find out that he just lives alone. He doesn't get anybody else. So yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Um, and it really does feel like he's pulled into this machine. And there's parts where he literally has a puppet head screwed onto the top of his
Yeah.
head or over his face, and like he's made to do like the puppet motions and stuff. And um, I was reading about it, and I guess the director wanted it to really be a statement on how people are manipulated, and like they think that they're making choices, but really they're just being
Controlled by society.
controlled by all these things.
Hmm.
So I thought that was really interesting.
That is interesting. One of my first one of my first thoughts actually was the Foley artist. Whoever the Foley artist was for this film, they had a ball
With the
because
sound effects.
with the sound
Oh,
effects, they're
yeah.
like crazy. Yeah, but it was
Yeah.
it also reminded me a lot of Lynch with the footsteps. Like the footsteps are really loud, but then also
Mm.
like the film just seems like a dream, like a crazy David Lynch type dream.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think that kind of has to do with how one room leads into like a totally different place, and it's kind of trippy a little bit because you're following this guy, and it's like you're trying to follow like where he's going, what's like things are like he's not controlling the situation, things are being acted upon him, like what
Right.
Court was
Like a
saying,
puppet.
like about society, like even like you were saying, he eventually turns into a puppet, but I feel like even his surroundings in the film are manipulating him
Right.
as well, like he can't even control where he is.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
what was your, sorry, I know we've been talking a lot, Michael, but what was your thought, because I know that you've watched this multiple times before. Was there anything
Yeah.
new that you got out of it watching it this time for the podcast?
Yeah, you know, I kind of so back to what the director was saying. I don't know if he ever I've never read into it or really looked into it, but I was aware that it was a play prior, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of, to me, it was like I was kind of this is like the third time I've watched it. So it was like the puppets kind of had a different meaning this third time around. You know, to me, it was more of just like kind of an intermission thing, but at the same time, it was almost like a mocking sort of, right? Like it was Faust is getting mocked every single intermission that this is
Mm.
happening when the little puppets are coming up. And
Mm-hmm.
the hands, you can clearly tell that you got like little hands popping up, holding the puppets around. They don't try to hide it or nothing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I kind of, it was kind of a back to what you were saying about being manipulated. Like that stuck out to me a lot more. I was like, it gave me a lot of questions, you know, as to like who, you know, was manipulating and why, or, you know, or if it was directly, you know, some sort of form of symbolism around that, you know. Another thing was watching like I don't know, the big thing for me for for the film is the dialogue between Mephistopheles and Faust. I think that's where the real meat of the film is. At least for me, it is. I everything is very carefully like worded and spelled out in a way that's like thought provoking and intriguing. And so every single time I watch it, like I kind of get wrapped up thinking about what they're talking about, you know. It's always
Mm-hmm.
very interesting.
You know, it's interesting, the character of Faust, the man who becomes Faust or embodies the role of Faust, he is silent for a lot
Hold
of the
on.
film, other
Yeah.
than pretty much when he's reading the script,
Yeah.
or I guess at the end when he's trying to. This is a spoiler, I guess. When he's trying to like undo what he's done, kind of, and trying to bargain with Mephistopheles. I think that's really interesting that he was silent. I really do think he was kind of like Cole said. Like, I feel like that's just one more way that it like demonstrates that he was being acted on by a system.
Yeah.
And then I also just want to bring up the fact that Mephistopheles, the way they do Mephistopheles, is really cool because he's like it starts out as like this claymation thing,
Yeah.
and then it like looks like a devil or whatever,
Yeah.
and then it morphs into the main actor's face, but then
Yeah.
it's like even he is like stop animated, and so that's cool too.
Yeah.
But I thought that was really cool. The lead actor plays both parts.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
is interesting.
Which go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say too, like when me and Court were watching this, that was one of the things that I actually brought up. I was like, he is so nonchalant about seeing these weird, these weird things, like
Yeah.
the claymation type stuff, like what you were saying, Michael, like how he's like not really saying anything. It's almost like he's just not
Yeah.
reacting. It's almost like he is so desensitized to how the world works and society works.
Yeah.
And it's anyway, it's just really interesting that his character acts like that, and then it also is making you think again that we are kind of controlled by society, like what we were saying before about like him not being able to control his surroundings, not being able to control, what's happening to him. It almost seems like he's just going with it. He's just kind of going with the
Yeah.
flow.
Like
And
reading a script, right?
yeah, he's reading a script, and then even him like doing the whole seance thing and calling Mephistopheles. It's like,
Yeah.
did he really want that, or was he like just going with the flow, going with the script of
Right.
life, quote unquote? And that's something that I was thinking about that later on. Like I didn't really
Yeah.
think that when I was watching it, but it did make me think because of how different he wasn't acting in a normal way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's kind of like is it just out of boredom, Is he just kind of doing it, to fill some sort of void? Or that's kind of what I got from it. It's because when the movie starts out, he's just kind of living, and then somebody seemingly out of nowhere. I mean, it's kind of unnatural. I mean, in present day, right, to have some guy handing out maps with a little
Right.
circle written out, So it would, to me, that'd be intriguing. And he goes back and he's like, I'm gonna ignore it. I'm gonna throw this away. And he goes back to his house. He starts eating his boring bread with whatever.
But
I don't
with the
even know.
egg.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
he's like eating lard with it or something.
That's
There's,
kind of
like,
what it
these
looked like,
hard
right? Like little
discs that were, like,
lifesavers made of lard.
Lifesaver looking disc. Yeah. I'm like, is that lard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something peculiar happens, and he's like, man, this is kind of weird. But then, yeah, it does go into this more psychedelic, sort of David Lynch-esque transitions where, I mean, as he's kind of getting guided through with all these weird things happening, it's kind of slowly becoming more and more out of his hands. It's it's pretty cool.
He's got to listen to punk music and get some variety in his life.
Yeah, why isn't he straight edge, dude?
Yeah, stop being straight edge with your suit and tie.
There's something about his character that feels incredibly lonely.
Oh yeah,
to me,
mm-hmm.
and alienated.
Yeah.
And one thing I do want to talk about that I discovered as I was doing research, that actor died that year.
Oh, dang.
From pancreatic cancer.
Oh.
Yeah. And so this was his last big film. He received a lot of accolades for this film, but yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah, I did want to bring that up. The film is almost entirely in Czech, but also Latin also comes up, which I think is interesting that those are the only two languages present in it. But I also liked how this film was not, it refused to settle into pure horror or pure comedy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like I felt like that was really cool. And I felt like my favorite part of this film, though, if I'm like being totally honest, is just that the world and how it's like, I feel like this is one of those films, I think, is his name Roger Ebert?
The film critic. Yeah.
I read his review, and he talks about how these, he said he didn't necessarily understand the plot. But, oh wait, no. I'm thinking of the other film that he reviewed, but the same statement I feel like applies to both. And he didn't really, of the other film that we'll reveal later that we chose to pair with it. He said that these kind of films are made for the eye, and I feel like I feel like that's definitely true with this one. I felt like the plot was a vehicle for the world itself, like it was a excuse to bring you into this world, kind of. And that was my favorite part of it, was this crazy wonky world that was created. It was a visual feast. So
I thought it was cool that the director chose such a well-known story as Faust. You know, we hear all the time Faustian about like trying to describe certain stories. But yeah, it was interesting that he used this story as a vehicle to make a commentary on society and how sometimes we're kind of mindless zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was researching about the Czech Republic at this time, and I guess that as everything was privatized and it turned over to capitalism from communism, there was so much organized crime and so much corruption. And so in a way, I wonder, well, and specifically, these people would try to invest their money only to have these outside like actors take their money and put it in foreign accounts that they never saw again. And so it was like this brutal time in a way. It was a brutal transition. And I almost wonder if this was the director maybe making a commentary on that, where it's almost like a Faustian bargain with the devil. Like, yes, we're going to have, earthly pleasures, but at the cost of our soul, kind of thing. Like, and like how the people were manipulated into, I'm not saying that the communist system in the Czech Republic, in Czechoslovakia, was working for the people or anything like that. But I am saying, like, I think you could read it as a commentary on like that. I feel like, especially with how the main character is depicted as this like business everyman character.
And then also just like his living, like where he's living, he's not living in a nice like part of town. His apartment's kind of dingy, and he's literally just eating bread. Like he's having, like, the most fancy thing about him, I guess, is that he's like wearing a suit and a trench coat, I guess, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But that's like Cord said, that's very just like normal looking, like nothing fancy kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So
is it okay if we go into the spoiler section?
Yeah, let's go into the spoilers section.
Okay, the ending. So in a lot of Faust tales, beyond just the one by Goethe, which is most well known, in a lot of Faust tales, there's a redemption at the end. And God in some way intervenes and saves Faust. In this one, he basically is trying to escape the contract. He bargains with Mephistopheles in the mirror for a bit. Then he runs down the hallway and he runs into somebody who we totally figure out is also being lured into the trap. So it makes you think it's like a recursive cycle.
Like a cycle, yeah.
He one of the puppets tries to get people to help him because they're like going to defend him from the devil, who's going to collect his soul. But anyway, they fail to defend him from the devil. He tries to bargain with Mephistopheles. He runs out into the road, and this driverless car hits him and kills him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then some old guy takes
It's
his
actually
leg.
the same car. I'm sorry. It's the same car that almost hits him in the beginning of the film, too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that either.
Yeah, and then some old dude just comes up and takes his leg, which is weird. But
Yeah.
he's also in the film earlier running around with a leg.
With a leg. And
With a
then,
leg, right?
And when our main character goes into the building, he sees some guy running out. And that's what happens at the end of the film. That he's running out and a new guy's coming in. So it's definitely definitely a cycle, which that could play into like how society is treating people like it's like a cycle life, I guess.
Yeah, I could see that. I thought that was an interesting choice though, to not have him be redeemed, just have him die.
That he dies. Yeah.
Like I was like, whoa, it's kind of
dark.
Yeah.
brutal. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then another important difference with the traditional Faust is he's usually also saved by romantic love. But in this one, there actually is no... He falls in love with Helen of Troy, which I didn't realize that was supposed to be Helen of Troy.
Oh.
But then you find out she's just a wooden puppet demon, a demon controlling with a mask.
Yeah.
And it's a puppet. And that scene's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
yeah, that was pretty wild.
Yeah.
The dude cannot catch a break.
Yeah, he can't. Was there any other final thoughts that you wanted to share, Michael, on this film?
You guys pretty much got it all. It was just like that repetitive cycle, the system that never ends. If you want to get like theological with it, it's almost as if he repented at the end. I think that's a bit more. I think it's. I also think the ending where he gets hit is a bit more realistic. If you're going to look at it from a societal standpoint, it's like, you kind of get used, you get promised all this stuff, you never actually really get all of it, and then that's it. You're done. End of the line. And so the symbolism of that is very on point. That's really all I have to say on it. That's.
Yeah.
I'm super glad that you
awesome.
introduced us to it, because it was super cool.
Yeah, I thought it was such a unique film, and how they used puppets obviously, but like the stop motion animation was like super cool, interesting.
So awesome.
Way to kind of like show these weird kind of supernatural aspecps.
Like the baby in the lab.
Yeah, the baby.
Like, that part messed with me the first time. I was like,
don't watch this on LSD
or substances. So
because in that part, this like clay baby that is the product of some alchemical reaction turns into him, and then it ages quickly, and then like turns into like it rots, and then like becomes a skeleton, and he freaks out, and he like crushes it and kills it.
That was pretty crazy. So Court, do you want to tell us about the film that you paired with Michael's film?
So real quick, I want to say like how I chose it. So I wanted a film that wasn't pure horror, pure comedy. I wanted it to be surrealist fantasy, like Faust. I wanted it to be a 90s European film. And then I wanted it to be like visually very like compelling and cool. Like where the plot feels like a vehicle for the world. And then also Faust to me kind of felt like, with all the marionettes and all the different aspects to it, it kind of felt like almost like a corrupted carnival or corrupted circus. in a way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I like looked for something that would kind of mirror it in all those ways. And I remembered, well, I found this film in that process, but I also remembered how much my aunt and uncle love this film. And it's called The City of Lost Children. It's a French film from 1995. In French, it was La Cité des Enfants Perdus, which I don't know what that means. I should have looked it up.
Oh,
And it was co-directed by Jean-Pierre Jeunet and Marc Caro. It has Ron Perlman,
Yep.
yeah, it
which
does.
he does not know French actually, and so
Really?
You could tell
no, he had
because I
to
couldn't really understand his French.
he had to learn. The way he did it is he just pronounced the words phonetically.
Okay.
And so he's known for this like performance for the way that but I would say it kind of adds to his character in a
Yeah, they're
way.
calling
Yeah,
him
'cause it-
dumb the whole time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which it kind of makes sense. I mean, you don't know his complete backstory, but yeah.
And then the music was directed by Angelo Badalamenti.
Hell yeah. Another David Lynch link.
David Lynch, yeah. And it's kind of like this dark fairy tale in a steampunk setting.
I mean, I literally said, like, when we were watching it, I was like, oh, this is like a Terry Gilliam film.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know Terry Gilliam, Michael, but he's a director. He was in Monty Python. He was one of the members of Monty Python, and then he went on to direct movies. Like, anyway, he's just got a very stylistic kind of thing. But
Well, and you know what's cool is this film gets compared to Terry Gilliam a lot online, but also Terry Gilliam and the directors credit Terry Gilliam as an influence on their style.
oh, cool.
But do you know what's cool? Terry Gilliam was majorly influenced by the Czech director of Faust.
Oh,
So that's another.
So it's one big connection
Yeah.
circle that we've made
That's
here.
crazy.
That's awesome. That's cool.
And this film also, some people consider it a retelling of Hansel and Gretel.
Oh, okay. Because I did
can see
ask
that.
you. I was like, is this based off of like a children's book or something? Because it seemed like it. But
Yeah.
so I guess technically it is like an old tale.
So here's a spoiler light plot thing. So Crank is this old guy who cannot dream, and because of that, he ages prematurely. And he lives on an offshore rig with clones, a brain in a tank, and this short little
dwarf,
woman.
yeah. A dwarf woman.
It's an interesting cast of characters. And he has his motley crew kidnap children so that they can extract their dreams. They end up taking this boy named Denray. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, who is the so-called little brother of Ron Perlman's character, who only goes by One.
Yeah.
And speaks in the third person a lot of time and calls himself One too.
Yeah.
One is a circus strongman, but early in the film, the person who is doing the show with him is stabbed and killed.
Yeah. You find out later on in the film that he was a whale harpooner, and he couldn't cut it at that, so he ended up being a circus strongman, which is, it's interesting that you said like you were trying to find a movie that was kind of circusy, and that definitely like ties in with that.
And he ends up teaming up with this little orphan girl named Miette.
What's that one movie? It's the little orphan boy.
Oh,
Oliver Twist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's
totally
kind of got
reminds
like
me
a
of
little
that.
Oliver Twist thing going on
Yeah.
with it.
There's these conjoined twins who are like running a thieving operation with all these orphans,
underground ring,
and they're
like,
pretty
make
awful.
money, yeah.
And she ends up coming along with one to try to rescue his little brother.
And eventually, like,
that's the
rescue
spoiler free.
all the other kids, yeah.
So
Michael, what was your first initial reaction to watching this film, and how do you think we did pairing it with your film?
I think you guys did an awesome job. The entire time I was watching it, I was just like, man, I wish there was a video game that took place in this. Because I just wanted
there
to
was
explore
one.
it.
Was
there
there?
was?
There was
a
a
game?
video game that
Really?
randomly
No
came
way,
out
dude.
based in this world.
That's wild.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I don't know if it's
Sorry.
available anywhere,
Huh.
but
Yeah.
Anyway, keep going, Michael. Sorry.
Yeah, I just love it's like early dystopia. I love how the buildings are stacked up. Like you were saying, it's one of those films that the plot kind of serves the world, you know? Like you're learning about the goons. I can't remember what their names were. The fact that they had to blind themselves, and you got this
the
preacher
Cyclops
guy. The Cyclops, yes, thank you.
cult. They're like a cult.
Yeah, they got this preacher man. They're blinding themselves just to get the chance to wear this, little thing, and with intense hearing and all that. Things like that just really add to the story significantly for me.
Yeah, the details.
Yeah, I loved Ron Perlman in it. I thought he was so awesome in that movie. I don't think they could have picked like a better fit for someone who was supposed to be, I guess, for lack of better words, strong and dumb. They did a great job.
But also tender at the same time.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah,
very pure.
Like when you're working with kids, because these are real kids that they're working with. Like it's not a modern film where they're CGIing a child or something. It's it was really refreshing to see somebody be so big brotherly to these kids, and I also loved the villain Craig. I thought he was an awesome villain. The film kind of gave me a little bit of a Guillermo del Toro vibe, like a tiny bit.
See that.
Yeah,
right?
I could see that.
Like with the way the steampunk buildings are, especially on the oil rig, it reminded me a lot of like H.R. Geiger. And I mean, maybe that's just how I haven't seen too many steampunk films or really gone too deep into the aesthetic itself. But to me, just the mass mechanical sort of vibe, and then connecting, like harvesting dreams from a kid is super kind of Lovecraftian to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. You're right.
It is Lovecraftian.
And he keeps failing because the kids keep having nightmares.
Yeah, because they're
no thanks
scared
to
of
him. Yeah, no thanks to him. Yeah.
And I also thought is interesting, like the green water. It's very
very green.
It's very it's very stylized. Another director you could say is like maybe Tim Burton.
For sure.
Like Tim Burton's Batman, like the Batman Returns, like with Danny DeVito as the Penguin. It's almost like this could be like Gotham, like in the world of Gotham, but in like Europe.
Yeah,
like the European version of Gotham.
For sure.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like in Tim Burton's films. Anyway, yeah, and the green water is just kind of interesting, and then the villain, what's his name? Crank. He's Crank. He's like he's got like this Mr. Burns kind of look to him.
He does
from The Simpsons.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, yeah.
And he's a pretty well-known French actor.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he was in another film that is very similar but received horrible. Not very similar, but very surreal and
Oh yeah.
but it received horrible reviews, so I didn't really choose that one.
That's
but anyway, sorry, that's a side thing.
yeah.
I also thought that a deep connection between the two films that I didn't know about, but that I think is worth talking about, is how they both take place in what I would call like these decaying urban ecosystems that foster alienation.
Yeah.
And like I feel like loneliness is also a big theme here. But these decaying urban ecosystems that foster alienation and make people, especially the vulnerable and marginal, available to systems of capture. Some other quick similarities that weren't a factor in me choosing them at all, but that I think are worth mentioning, is the protagonist in both films is largely silent.
Mm-hmm.
So you have one, and then you have Faust. You have one actor playing multiple roles. And then they're both heavily influenced by folk tales. And like fairy tales. So, yeah. I don't know. Again, this film, like you said, it brings you into a world that's super interesting, and
it's very stylized. I feel like this movie's more stylized than the Faust film.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But the Faust film's interesting because, like I said, it's like a dream. Whereas this one, there's there's a definitive plot, and you're following these characters, which is interesting. There's definitely more of an emotional connection that you get with this film as compared to Faust. Because Faust, you're kind of just along for the ride. You're just
you're more observing.
Yeah, but like with this film, you're actually connecting with the characters more. There's more of an emotional kind of thing with it. And anyway, I just thought that was interesting. I also thought it was just really interesting that Ron Perlman would do this, be super bold, and be in a French film and speak French. I mean, I think this was at the beginning of his career, so I wonder if he was just like trying to pick whatever he could get. But I mean, I'm sure he picked it because it was a challenge, right?
Absolutely.
He had to fully embrace working with all these French actors and then filmmakers, and then having a role where you have to be strong but compassionate, but not seem like too dumb, you know what I mean? Anyway, it's like a balance that I think he does really well. I feel like Ron Perlman makes the film for me. He's definitely a lot of the actors. I'm like, a lot of the actors are like, maybe it's just because their characters are so cartoony. It's almost.
I love that though.
Yeah, I don't know if I liked it as much, but
Really?
I get that it works with the world though. But yeah, Crank, what the villain, he was super annoying to me. And then all of the clones, I thought it's kind of a funny, interesting character, like kind of, but also that character was a little annoying to me, but.
Yeah, but anyway. You get the. Oh wait, I think that's a spoiler. I'm gonna hold on to that. I'm gonna hold on.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, we can go into the spoiler.
Let's go into the spoilers. What were you gonna say?
Word. You do get to see Ron just throw those little fuckers down a tube, though, and that's
that was satisfying. Yeah,
it was good. It was nice.
I am gonna push back a little bit. I mean, obviously, there's not a wrong opinion to say you found them annoying, but I think the other characters are really cool in a sense that it's a fairy tale. Yeah, and they just feel like they are part of a fairy tale. Yeah, and like with a children's story, you don't necessarily always get like these fleshed out, like multi-dimensional.
Yeah.
Although I would say this is a spoiler. So you find out that the clones are all cloned from this original scientist guy who now has amnesia.
Now that guy was cool. I like
Yeah,
that
I like
character.
that
That guy was
because
pretty
he's-
sick. I thought he was
Because he's kind
hilarious.
of he's crazy, but
Yeah.
but he's also like trying to do the right thing, which is interesting.
And he spends a lot of time underwater, diving for
Trash and
just collecting stuff in the
unwanted
harbor,
things.
and then he lives like in this area that's like it's like subterranean,
yeah.
and he
But anyway, going back to what you were saying, I guess since it's a children's story, it does work with them being kind of cartoony. With that, because it's almost like the children are like the most adult, like responsible ones compared to like the actual adults are the ones that are kind of not responsible.
And they do kind of touch on that a little bit too, where they're talking about it. The kids are conversating with Miette, the little orphan girl, and they're like, "Hey, that big guy, that's an adult, bro. You don't want to be hanging out with that guy." And she was like, "Well, maybe you're a bit more like an adult too. Maybe he's not an adult. You ever think about that? You know?" But like, it's true though, you know.
Yeah, that was a good point. The other I will give it this. One of the other characters that I thought was really interesting was the tick guy. The guy with the ticks.
Or the fleas.
The fleas. I mean, sorry, the guy with the fleas.
Yeah, he's like the circusy guy.
I thought he was cool because his character goes through an arc and he does the right thing, and so
Well, let's explain it a little bit. There's this character who has these circus fleas, but he's trained them so that they will inject people with this
aggressive serum.
The serum that makes them basically kill who's ever in front of them.
But only when like music is being played.
But only when the music is playing, And it's really terrifying and it's heartbreaking a little bit because he's hired to kill one to kill Mignette and then capture one.
Yeah.
And he uses the fleas on him to have one kill Mignette.
That was kind of disturbing.
And that was sad because he like slaps her and she looks like, so betrayed.
He's like
and
beating up a kid.
Yeah. But then there's like poetic. Well, anyway, the scientist guy who's the diver who spends a lot of time under the water rescues Mignette from drowning. And one just goes to this like bar and is just like hitting the shots like crazy.
Yeah.
And the guy with the fleas is there and he's like so remorseful about it.
Yeah. So he hires a hooker for the guy for one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so kind of you.
Yeah. But one is so innocent in a way that he's just like, Anyway.
Yeah. I don't even care.
Yeah. But then the little girl comes back and the flea guy decides to not kill her and to help them.
Yeah.
And he ends up betraying the conjoined twins who in the movie are called the octopus. Did you catch that?
Oh, I didn't catch that.
I heard that at the very end and I was like, that's weird.
I think it's because they're always moving their hands, like they're working as one, even though they're like only conjoined at the foot.
Oh, huh?
Yeah, because there's that big boot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
I want to talk about that crazy scene where they're trying to kill... they're trying to kill the girl and one.
Yeah.
And the girl sheds a tear that hits a spider web.
Oh, yeah.
And like, then it leads to this... What are those machines called where like one thing...
Yeah, it's
triggers another.
It's like a German name.
Yeah, you know those machines where like a marble will roll down, hit a domino, the domino triggers a fan, the fan triggers.
Yeah,
it's basically like that.
That was crazy. I was losing my mind when I saw that.
That was amazing. Yeah, and it ends up saving them kind of, and then the flea guy uses the poison on the
octopus.
And she ends up killing her
sister.
Yeah. They end up killing each other, really.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they kill each other. There's some dark themes in this film. really, yeah, like you were saying, it is Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like the story ends like with a happy ending.
Yeah.
Different than Faust for sure.
Which
Different
was
than
refreshing,
Faust.
yeah, in comparison,
Yeah.
right? Like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to like see that a nice happy ending after seeing like a bleak ending for that other film.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's interesting too at the end, the two boats. There's the boat of all the clones and the brain in a vat.
Yeah.
And then there's the boat of the saved children
Mhm.
and one.
Right.
And then the scientist guy with amnesia who helped save
The kids.
the kids has
Yeah.
strapped all these explosives on the
Yeah.
rig. And then he kind of comes to his senses and realizes, like, wait, I don't want to blow myself
I don't want
up.
to kill myself.
But
yeah.
big spoiler, just when he realized that, a goal lands on the mechanism to activate the dynamite and blows him up. What did you think about that? Why do you think they did that?
I mean, it was kind of funny in a weird way. Like
No,
how,
for sure.
Like how they
Yeah.
did it.
Humor.
It was
Yeah.
very dark humor. I think. Well, I mean, he's the one that helps develop like this technology, and then also like
So it
cloning
kind of serves
himself.
him right, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, but it is kind of sad because because of amnesia, he realizes that he needs to help the kids.
Yeah.
And so he is doing the right thing, but at the end, I mean, I guess you could liken it to how Faust ends up, right? I mean,
Right.
Faust
Yeah.
That's true.
tries to leave, and I mean, Faust isn't really trying to do the right thing, but I guess it's kind of similar
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's like some kind of weird poetic justice is what I would say.
Absolutely.
I could see that. Or maybe it's a warning in a way. Like,
Yeah.
oh, the original Czech name for Faust is actually the lesson of Faust.
The lesson. of Faust.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And so some people read it as kind of a morality play. Maybe this is also kind of a morality play.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
You could even say at the ending too, like so he invented that machine to begin with, right? He cloned himself to do all this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
if he didn't get amnesia, who's to say that like he'd
He
even
wouldn't have been there.
stop, you know? Like,
Yeah.
like he might not have even done that. But that's like hypotheticals,
Yeah.
right? But like,
Right. Yeah. That's an interesting thought. On
Yeah.
That. So,
One thing I do want to bring up is this is in 94. And this is really when CGI is first really starting to be used. And there's not a lot of CGI in the movie except for
the fleas.
the fleas,
Yeah.
which I was pretty impressed with.
Yeah.
It was really
and
good.
Actually, at the time of this film being made, this was the most expensive French film to have been made.
I
It
could see that, yeah.
Both films are actually multinational productions. They had to do that in order to get the funding. And so even though the one film is primarily credited to the Czech Republic and this one's primarily credited to France, they actually
We're working together.
used a lot of studios to get it to work, which I think is cool. You don't really see that with American cinema as much, at least with big films.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really liked it.
I thought it was awesome.
I thought it was cool. I will say I think I liked the Faust film more, just because I don't know. It was interesting because it was such a unique way of telling the story, and like a different way, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think I like that more. But like I said, I think you do have a more of an emotional connection to the characters in this film
Yeah.
compared to Faust. So. But yeah, I thought it was a really interesting pairing. I thought it was cool.
Yeah. What did you think? Which one did you like more? Be honest.
Out of the two, it's kind of hard because I mean I've seen Faust several times, and this was my first time ever seeing it. And I don't know. I think City of Lost Children. I just want to explore it more. You know, leaving the film, I just want to just get back into it and like find out what's going on there. You know, I want to look around the city. Like I said, I want there to be like a full-fledged video game where I can like hop, you know, tower to tower, because you know those buildings are stacked. They
Yeah.
stack those buildings up. I want
Yeah.
to explore the subterranean levels. The world is just so fascinating, and
Yeah.
yeah. And Faust is really awesome film wise. Like the techniques and methods that they use are really interesting.
Yeah.
I think I would probably like if I was going to show somebody a film like tomorrow, I'd probably
Uh-huh.
do the City of Lost Children, just because it's just like a slightly more like easy watch than
Slightly more
Faust
Yeah.
is.
accessible.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit more accessible.
There's something about Faust that feels abrasive, I would
It's
say.
yeah, it's insane. It's like the most metal Czechoslovakian movie you've ever
Yeah,
seen.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Uh,
I really like both, and I think they're both really, really cool worlds, and the visuals are so cool.
Yeah,
But I think it's hard. I think that City of Lost Children for me is more enjoyable in a
yeah,
way.
Oh, yeah,
understandable. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I like Faust a lot though.
it
Yeah.
leaves an
Even if it's
impression on you.
challenging.
That Faust, it leaves an impression.
It
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
does. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
one thing I wanted to say about Faust is the director actually uh, was trained in puppet theater, and he actually was part of a production of a version of Faust. I think it was called Dr. Faustus.
Mm.
So before he made this film, so that definitely probably had an impact.
That's why
on
they say Faustus.
yeah, and they call him the
Yeah.
doctor a lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't seen these films, go out and watch them. Both me and Core and Michael recommend them.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would
You got-
you rate him
Michael, go first.
Out of
out
10?
of 5?
Or out of
Out of
5?
5.
Mm.
Yeah, 5 star. Like, yeah.
I think Faust is a solid 4.5. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I think City of Lost Children might be like I'd give it like a 4.3.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
Okay. I think I would give Faust a 4 out of 5, and then I'd give The City of Lost Children 3.5 out of 5.
Where
Fair. Okay. I think I would give Faust a 4 and City of Lost Children a 4. Maybe a little higher than a 4. I don't know, a 4.
yeah.
Well, Michael, thanks for being on. Do you want to tell the audience, are you working on anything? Is there anything that you want to plug?
Yeah, so if you're in the Boise area, July 18th, I will be at the Hive with a band, a really awesome band, White Hot Velvet, and Sir Vessel and the Anti Knights. Those guys are really sick, good friends of mine. And it's going to be at the Boise Hive. My Instagram is licensed emo. I'll be posting.
Oh yeah. I was gonna
plenty.
ask you about that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What were you gonna ask?
I just think that's a hilarious name.
Licensed emo. Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
spelled, I think, with a C though, right?
Yeah. It's spelled wrong. It's objectively wrong. Ain't dyslexia a bitch? Anyways, yeah. I'll be posting the flyers on there. Sir Vessel and the Anti Knights will be posting the flyers on there. Make sure to check that out.
And I guess we can tell people we're gonna be hopefully collaborating a little bit soon.
Yeah,
Tell us about that. I don't know about that.
Me and Michael talked about maybe just doing like a split. So
yeah.
Michael has everything written. I still need to write stuff. So Michael's waiting on me. But yeah, so that'll be coming out in the near future. So you can watch out for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody go listen to Mchev. Your music's awesome. I think you have like I said, you just have a really unique sound, and more people need to listen to you. And I'm really happy that we have like another lo-fi punk band in Idaho, so it's not just me on the side of the state. So,
Yeah.
since Blix is no longer a band,
Yeah.
sadly.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Rest in peace. Yeah.
But yeah, thanks again, Michael, for being on. We really appreciate you coming
Bless.
on.
It was awesome. Thank you for having me. It was really
And
sick.
yeah, watching these films was really cool.
Yeah.
They're films that I don't. These are definitely films that I would not know about, and I probably wouldn't like put on to watch. So I'm happy that you picked
I think
the
they were
ones.
really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy that we watched them. So
Yeah, it's super cool to meet you. I will look forward to the collaboration that you guys are doing.
Dude,
Hopefully I
yeah.
can catch one of your live shows.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
sick.
well, if you ever want, Michael, you can always come out to this side of Idaho, and
It's gonna happen.
we can get a show in Idaho Falls set up for you, and you can stay at our house, and we'll
Right
give you all the
on.
money. We'll give you all the money, so you can have gas money.
Oh man, that would be amazing. That'd be so cool. It'd be so cool.
All right, sick. Thanks so much, Michael. We'll see you guys later.
Yeah, all right. See ya.
Fast,